That's right, Bethel. It's showdown time here on Talking Bible with the Brandons. And it's time that I think the real man.
Well, normally you wouldn't take a knife to a gun show, but if one of them is shooting that little bullet and you've got a knife like this,
You may have a chance.
I may have the upper hand here.
Now, Brandon, that looks like some kind of pagan sacrificial knife or something like that you would expect to see if you had maybe a prophet of Baal or something.
That's right. Could be.
So
Could
it's
be.
clear who the good guy is here and who the bad guy is.
Yeah, something like that. Did
Thank
you mean to get a Tennessee orange gun?
I did not. I don't even know where I got this, man. As a youth pastor, you just acquire things like this.
Yes,
It
I
could be-
understand.
yeah, so.
Yes, that's true.
But guys, it's showdown time today on Mount Carmel, okay? And today it's high noon, and what we've got is a classic matchup between the true God, the one and only God, Yahweh, and His prophet against the false God that has led many astray. And all of his, how many prophets are we talking about here for the prophet of Baal?
300?
300
I
prophets.
remember, yeah, it was a bunch.
A lot, all right?
No. Yeah, it's a lot. I
A
don't
lot.
remember.
Okay, it's in the hundreds, all right? So, 400.
400.
450 for Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Ahab or Jezebel's table.
850 prophets,
Yep.
pagan prophets,
Yep.
and one Elijah. Although he had kind of a remnant in hiding, they were backing him, but nonetheless, Ahab had enough. I mean, Elijah confronts Ahab and all of his wickedness, and so basically
Sends a
Elijah,
messenger to him.
That's right. And Elijah was like, let's just have a contest. Let's just have a contest here.
Let's just be done with it.
Let's
here.
just get it all out and open. And so they do. They have a contest. But what's the verse that I thought was so good here, just jump to it, is verse 21 of chapter 18. Elijah came near to all the people. Now, see, it's not just Ahab and the prophets.
That's right.
The people have followed. And he goes to the people and says, how long will you go on limping between two different opinions? If the Lord is God, then follow him. And if Baal is God, follow him. But quit trying to, vacillate or waver between this one and this one, or this one and this one, And who does that remind you of? Whose words? Who's that sound like?
I don't know where you're going with this here.
It sounds like Jesus to me when he
Oh,
says, you
yeah.
can't serve two masters.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. Isn't it?
Yeah,
That guy.
Yeah. Or the book of James, where James is saying you can't waver between, one way getting tossed from one way, a double-minded man.
Double-minded man
Yeah,
is unstable
so,
in
yeah.
all of his ways.
Yes. So anyway, I'm not crying. It's just my allergies, as always.
He got really scared with
Yeah,
that.
that's right. So anyway, that's the question that I love. That question. It's one of the best ones. Make up your mind. You can't serve God, the one true God, and this God at the same time, which is what a lot of people want to do.
Yeah, 1 foot in the world, 1 foot out. That's
And I don't know if
all
this is
different
what he intends by this, but he says limping. How long will you go on limping? And I thought when I read that is like, how long will I limp? Because that's what you do when you're trying to serve two. I could be running with the Lord.
That's right.
But instead, I'm limping along like I'm injured, like I've broken my foot. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and that's why we're called to throw aside every weight and every hindrance. And that's what those things are. They keep us from running at the pace that God wants us to. Not look back at the plow or anything like that, but just to press on towards the mark there, to run the race that God has set before you. All of those euphemisms, those biblical analogies that we're giving, and all of that really points to this one central truth: is you cannot serve two masters.
Right.
Okay, you're going to love the one and hate the other. You're going to just you're going to be in this place of not limping but limbo. You're not going to be moving forward in your relationship with the Lord, and yeah. So I mean, and this is what Elijah's message to the people is here.
Right, and so
I don't even think he's so much concerned about winning over the prophets of Baal or Ahab, but the people here.
He knows the prophets.
That's
aren't
who he's
gonna
going
change their
for.
mind.
That's right.
Because they have the contest, and they're going to call fire down from heaven on the sacrifice of Baal or God. If Baal is God, he'll answer, and if my God is God, he'll answer. Well, Baal never answers. There's no fire from heaven. Elijah mocks them, and then he says to his
Does that give us permission to mock people now that don't worship the one true God?
No, not exactly. I think it's a special thing. Maybe
he has a little fun with them.
He
it
does,
looks like.
he does.
Yeah.
But then even on his sacrifice, he's like, "All right, pour water on mine.
Right.
Pour water on mine. We're going to set this on fire, but pour water on it." And they do. But anyway, God answers his prayer. Fire comes down, consumes the sacrifice, and then what's amazing too is, and this is something I pointed out in a sermon a couple of weeks ago, the people of Baal, the prophets of Baal, calling out to Baal, he never answers, and they start cutting themselves. It's like, if we show our dedication enough, if we sacrifice enough of ourselves, we'll take our very life in order to make you, to get you to move. And I mean, that's idols. Idols take.
Right.
They drain you.
Yeah.
They hurt you. And God is like, here's the God that serves you. He doesn't shed your blood. He sheds his own blood for you, and he gives to you. And so it's not like Elijah's trying to get them to turn from a bad God to a worse God or a not so good God. He's trying to get them to turn from a false God who hurts to a God who loves and provides and is good to them.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because, I wrote down, just in regards to this, talking about that, just this self-mutilation that they were doing here. And I just wrote, Christianity stands in stark contrast because not only is Yahweh real, okay, not only is he a God that hears our prayers and answers them, but he acts on our behalf, even shedding his own blood. He doesn't ask us to shed our blood.
That's right.
But he sheds his own blood because we're already loved by him, because we're already favored by him. We're not trying to do all these things so that we can get his affection or him to favor us or anything like that. But he does that, showing that he already does.
Right. Yeah. So what's also stands out is the prophets and Jezebel and these guys. They don't turn even after that miracle. They stay with their counterfeit God, which shows you the hardness of man's heart. It shows you that miracles, we talked about that, rarely change anybody's mind.
Yeah.
Things like that. It just the human heart is super hard, and the harder you make it, the more difficult it is. And it's not that God cannot crack that hard heart open, but it just shows you the depravity of man. And this is one of my favorite lines in this. I mean, it's in 1 Kings 18:17 when Elijah first comes to Ahab. Ahab says to him, "Is it you troubler of Israel?"
And he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm the troubler?"
Well, I think one of the things that you take from that is one of the roles of a preacher and a prophet. And so this is self-fulfilling for me. Is you have to disturb the peace.
You want to trouble them.
It's just part of the thing. You
we
have
call
to do that.
We call that stepping on their toes during the sermon there.
Yeah, and it should. I read the Bible. When I read this, it disturbs me. I get disturbed. I get challenged. The role, if you're not ever being challenged by your reading of the Bible or by your preacher, then something's wrong. And there should be a disturbing of the peace that happens. That's just part of the role. If they're not doing that, if that's not happening, then something's wrong.
Probably got some tickling of the ears.
Yeah, but it's good for us because God, whatever God is disturbing us, He's bringing us to something better for us. We need to be disturbed because you get complacent, you get apathetic, you begin to compromise, you let things in your life you shouldn't, you start thinking the wrong way, believing the wrong things, and then you're doing the wrong things, and you need someone to come along and disturb your peace.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything from 19 of note?
Well, I mean,
there?
I'm sure we're out of time, but
Yeah.
it just, what's crazy about it after this great victory is that Elijah goes down into a dark place.
Yeah. Like
It's
now
a-
you're afraid?
Yeah, it's like, so for ministers, I think they love this because it's like, it shows you how we can be. You can feel powerful and strong at one point,
moment,
and
yeah.
then it's like, my life is a waste. My ministry is doing no good.
Right.
So, but it does show you, it's a great picture here of the way the Christian life can be. It can be up and down, and this God's kindness to Elijah to pull him out of that.
Doesn't abandon him in that?
That's right. We can't go into all the specifics. We just don't have time. But God is very faithful to come to him in chapter 19 and kind of rescue him out of that darkness and that fear that he was in, which is hard to understand. Fire just came from heaven on his behalf, and now he's afraid of Jezebel. So it's like he outruns the chariots.
She must have been one bad lady.
Well, yeah.
She must have
She
been.
was. There's a reason Jezebel is a word in the language now to refer to a very wicked woman.
You don't want to be a Jezebel, ladies.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it, right? Contend for the faith. All right. Showdown on Mount Carmel. It's about to be a showdown here at Bethel. All right. And I'm not loaded anymore, and it seems
And
like...
even if you were,
That's right.
of course, this isn't sharpened either.
It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not really at all. So
got this
you
on
couldn't
Spain
even
in a
open a letter with that.
Got this in Spain on a mission trip.
I mean, it looks cool.
It does.
It looks cool. All right, guys, you know what else is cool? Reading ahead for tomorrow's Bible study. So tomorrow we're going to be at 1 Kings once again, chapters 21 and 22. And poor Naboth here, gets his vineyard basically stolen from him and killed in the process.
Yeah.
And Jezebel's at it again, but
That's right.
it's not going to stand. So don't worry about that, guys. Make sure you're reading ahead 1 Kings 21 and 22, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.